Yo, what's good, everyone? Your boy Deke back again with another vid. Dude, I've been seeing this thumbnail, this video pop up on my related YouTube videos or like suggestions for you for the past couple days here. And it's called Timeline of How the Steelers Built a Super Team. I guess this dude has been doing these type of vids for a little bit here. He got around to doing the Steelers. And it's got like over 100,000 views. I ended up watching like the first minute of it and was really impressed. I'm like, all right, this is going to be a dope-ass video. Why not record a reaction to it? Maybe chime in a little bit here and there throughout, kind of share some memories, some context, whatever it is. Because I'm sure this is going to be a dope vid, and I'm sure some of you guys will like it too. So I figured let's do a reaction vid, I guess you could call it, to timeline of how the Steelers built a super team. I guess from what it was 2013, 2014, all the way up till now. So let's get into it.
Steelers go to 9-0. We'll visit Jacksonville.
Hey guys, welcome back to another video, this time on the Pittsburgh Steelers. I asked you guys last video which team you wanted to see, and a lot of you guys asked for the Steelers, and I mean a lot.
Steeler Nation, that's right. I mean, kind of obvious.
Also,
I'm not surprised by that at all.
Where I choose every team's top 10 plays of all time, in my opinion, and then break them down by showing the background, play art, and aftermath of each play. Let me know in the comments if you'd like to see this or any other series ideas that you have.
I'm sure he'll end up doing that. That's a pretty good idea.
92% of you guys are still not subscribed to the channel.
Subscribe to this dude. What's going on?
Help support the channel. But without further ado,
seems like he makes dope videos.
The Pittsburgh Steelers and Steeler Nation select, and this is not even my choice, but a good one, Le'Veon Bell, running back.
During the 2012 season, the Steelers had a huge problem with taking care of the ball. Running backs and receivers were constantly fumbling throughout the season, and the Steelers attempted to address this by drafting Le'Veon Bell, in part because in college he was known for taking care of the ball. On the defensive side, the Steelers, who are known for their pass rush, has slowly lost its fire with a declining defensive line. They attempted to address this by drafting Jarvis Jones in the first round.
With this Le'Veon Bell draft, I don't know how much you guys remember. I think Eddie Lacy was available. I'm pretty sure. We definitely needed a running back. I know he was talking about the fumble problems. I just think we had a running back problem too. Like, I didn't think our running backs were that good. Jonathan Dwyer, Isaac Redman. Did we have another guy in there like trying to get some snaps? But I remember it was those two for like a good solid 2 years after we had Mendenhall. And then we had Willie Parker before that. We just had a running game problem. We were waiting to get a running back to like a RB1 just to take over the backfield and start dominating. And I wanted Eddie Lacy. I thought he would have been the perfect like Steeler and everything. I didn't know much about Le'Veon Bell, but obviously it worked out with Bell coming to the Steelers.
The Steelers team was aging quickly, and the Steelers needed their new talent to step up in order to perform. The Steelers had a rough start to their season, starting off 0-4 for the first time since...
All right, those first 4 games, I will never forget that. 0-4, especially that Vikings one. The Vikings one was the Le'Veon Bell's first game. He came out, I think he had 2 touchdowns. Adrian Peterson kind of lit us up though too. We had a drive to win it down the stretch. Man, that Bears game, yeah, that was I think that was a Sunday night game. AB had that crazy catch where he like tipped it to himself in the back corner of the end zone. I think this was the season like AB really started to ball out, and Le'Veon's rookie years where he was definitely showing a lot of promise. I'm sure he'll get into that.
1968, but the team rallied in the second half of the season, going into Week 17 with a 7-8 record. In order to qualify for the playoffs, the Steelers...
Week 13, that was that Thanksgiving with Le'Veon Bell. The helmet came off, the Tomlin trip and all that. We got robbed that game. And I think that Dolphins game was the one where AB almost scored on the last second play, like the reverse or whatever the hell it was. Damn, man.
Have to win their game, and the Ravens, Dolphins, and Chargers all had to lose. The Steelers ended up winning their game, and the Ravens lost, and the Dolphins lost. But the Chargers ended up beating the Chiefs 27-24.
Bro, the dude missed the field goal. I will never forget that.
Time to eliminate the Steelers from playoff contention.
Yeah, right here. It was with Casey's backups. It was like Chase Daniel and like some of their scrubs. They should have won the game. I mean, they were outplaying them the whole game from what I can remember. Yeah, this is the AB season. Look at those stats. Yeah, Worlds was actually kind of good. He was kind of good for us.
Ryan Shazier.
Look at this draft. Look at the Shazier, Tuitt, and Martavis. We had McCullers on the roster, but like no one else has panned out. But like those 3 out of the top 4 picks, that's a hell of a draft.
Last season, Ben Roethlisberger had one of the best seasons in his career, and the Steelers are looking to use his momentum to carry the offense further.
Moats.
The Steelers' biggest weakness had become their defense, which allowed 23.1 points per game last season. To address this, they drafted Ryan Shazier and Stephon Tuitt, while also signing...
Yeah, I made a whole vid about this on the 2014 Ben's back-to-back 6 touchdowns, because we lost Sanders. I think he was about to sign with the Patriots, and he ended up going to the Broncos. But then we had Marcus Wheaton come in, and like we drafted him the year prior, but we thought he was just going to fill Sanders' shoes, which ended up, for the most part, being the case. Like I think they had very much like identical stats throughout their careers in Pittsburgh.
Mitchell to boost their defense.
Yep. Justin Brown, third receiver. I know he was on the team. I don't know if he was our third receiver, though. Maybe to start the season. Yep, Moats came in. I guess Jarvis Jones was slated to be the starter, but Moats came in and ended up being the starter for us the majority of that year. I remember him telling me about that.
Before they rallied behind Big Ben, Antonio Brown, and Le'Veon Bell to lead the Steelers to an 11-5 record. Behind their incredible performances, the Steelers became the first team in history to have a 4,500-yard passer, 1,500-yard receiver, and 1,300-yard rusher all in the same season.
Yeah, this was definitely the start of something here.
In a rematch against the Ravens, the Steelers' offensive line struggled as Roethlisberger was sacked 5 times and threw 2 interceptions.
Well, this was a disaster. Look, I mean, we had Josh Harris and Ben Tate as our running backs. Because he showed that we got LeGarrette Blount this season, but then we cut him after I think he walked off the field because he wasn't getting enough touches or something like that. And Le'Veon Bell got hurt in the final game of the season, so we didn't have him here. I mean, it was just rough, man. I mean, our defense didn't play that good either. 13
points, marking the Steelers' 4th biggest loss in postseason history.
Yeah, right here. Look at this.
In and out of his mitts and picked off by T-Sizzle.
Yeah, we were only down a score at that point, too. Yeah, I think Ben led the league in passing yards there. Yeah, look at those stats. Good music.
The Pittsburgh Steelers.
All right, what about this draft? Bud Dupree, that's about it. I mean, Jesse James was solid, but nothing crazy. Sammy Coates had a run of like 4 or 5 games. Unfortunately, he hurt his hand. Yeah, Bud Dupree he ended up being a really good pick here.
Bud Dupree, linebacker, Kentucky.
The Steelers' offense had reached an unstoppable level with Antonio Brown.
Yep, picking up D'Angelo. That was a big pickup just because we saw in that Ravens playoff game that we needed a backup running back in case Le'Veon Bell went down. It just became a disaster for us on offense. It was kind of like, I don't know. What would you say? Go uphill. An uphill battle. Yeah, there you go.
Ben emerging as the top players in the position, along with an incredible season from Le'Veon Bell.
Yeah, Worlds retired. Both Worlds retired at a young age. He was going to get a big contract. Troy Polamalu retired. Ike Taylor retired. Brett Kiesel. So this was like kind of the changing of the guard for the defense. Definitely getting a lot younger.
The biggest problem was still on defense. So Troy Polamalu, Ike Taylor, and Jason Worlds all retiring. Once again, most of their draft picks went to improving their subpar defense.
Why does he have Sammy Coates as our third guy? Was Martavis suspended to start the season or something? That might have been it. Yeah, I think that's what was it. Because Martavis was our 2 receiver this season. Didn't we have like Ross Cockrell too? Yeah, man.
The Steelers' season was full of ups and downs, as both Le'Veon Bell and starting center Marquise Pouncey were injured for most of the season. Big Ben was also injured for a couple games, leaving backups Michael Vick and Landry Jones to take over.
Yep, Ben got hurt Rams game. Vic came in for this Ravens game. That was a debacle with the field goal kicking. And then won the Chargers game. Landry Jones, I believe, played in this Cardinals game, and we won. Won on the road, lost to the Chiefs. Bengals game. What happened in this game? I think Ben came back. That's when Bell got hurt. And then Raiders game. Ben got hurt at the end of that. That's when the Browns game happened, and he started the game as the backup, then came in, threw for over like 300 yards. Then the Marcus Wheaton game with the Seahawks.
All these
good
injuries,
times.
the Steelers still managed to
Broncos
go 10-6,
game was epic.
the
I was
last
at that
AFC
game.
Playoff spot. Matchup against the Bengals. The Bengals held a 1-point lead with only a minute 50 remaining. Roethlisberger had gotten injured early.
Dude, I hold to this. Like I believe we were up 15-0 before Ben got hurt. Like we had that game in the bag before he went down and had to go out of the game. From what I can remember, I felt like we had a stronghold on that game before he got hurt. But obviously the amazing finish happened, and we have memories for the rest of our lifetime with this game.
Causing Landry Jones to step in for the final drive to win the game. Jones immediately threw a pick, effectively ending the Steelers' season, whose win probability had fallen to 3% on the game. What happened next is one of the strangest and most controversial endings in NFL history. After the pick, the Bengals attempted to run the ball and burn the clock, when running back Hill was stripped by Shazier, giving the Steelers the ball back with a minute remaining. This time an injured Roethlisberger checked back into the game and led a drive to around the 50-yard line when the Bengals picked up two 15-yard penalties to give the Steelers a chip shot field goal to easily win the game. This was a huge win for the Steelers and an absolutely devastating loss to the Bengals.
Well, he just went over to the sideline. Bush is going to go ahead and go for the kick that in all likelihood would win it if he makes it. And the kick is drilled, and the Steelers are back ahead.
The Steelers then went on to face the number one.
We talked about this game on the podcast. This was just devastating, man. For Ben to come in here and throw for over 300 yards, 339, as you can see here, on that bum shoulder. No AB, no Le'Veon Bell. I believe no D'Angelo Williams as well. Yeah, because obviously he would have been in the game late in the game when we needed him. But man, this one hurt. We should have won this game.
Broncos. The game was close heading into the fourth
quarter.
And
I believe this Denver Broncos defense was like considered the number one defense in the league. I don't think they gave up 300 yards to any passer that season except for Big Ben. Both times. The first time was at home at Heinz Field with that epic comeback, and then this game. We should have won this one. There was that Peyton Manning play too where he like fake slid or something like that. That was bullshit.
Run to take a 10-point lead. The Steelers managed to score 3 points but were unable to complete a comeback and were eliminated from the playoffs. After the game, sources said that the Steelers head coach Mike Tomlin was seen sobbing in the locker room, just showing how brutally close this loss was.
So lucky, dude. They ended up winning the Super Bowl that year. That was lucky. Look at these stats. And I keep saying this, I'll probably always say this, this was probably a top 3 Ben Roethlisberger season, in my opinion, at least in the top 5. I know the stats are going to, 21 touchdowns, 16 picks. He led the league in yards per game that year. And you just have to watch the game. Some of those games were just so dominant. Look, AB, 1,834 yards. That would have been 2,000 yards if Ben didn't get hurt. D'Angelo went off whenever Bell was out. So it was, man, I was depressing, man. I thought we had something this year.
The Pittsburgh Steelers.
Oh, man. Looks like Javon Hargrave is the main star of this draft. Artie Burns, both. I thought Artie Burns and Davis, I thought they were going to be studs for our defense because this rookie year, they shown a lot of flashes. And then Gerald Hawkins, he's still on the team right now. But other than that, Matt Akavish, good special teams player. So, I don't know. I don't even know how you would grade this draft.
Artie Burns, defensive back, Miami.
The Steelers were met with some tough news during the offseason that Martavis Bryant would be suspended for the entire.
Okay, so Martavis was only suspended for 4 games in 15, where I was saying he should have been the wide receiver 2 on the depth chart thing. And this year I guess he was out for the whole season. Ladarius Green, dude, like I thought that was going to be a huge pickup. And I think it was, considering the games that he did play. Like he showed up at the Giants game and also the Colts game on Thanksgiving. He had 2 big games there. I think if you took his yards per game over a 16-game schedule, it would have been like over 800 yards or something like that. So he did have an impact when he did play. I was really excited about that signing.
Year after failing 6 drug tests. Despite this loss, the Steelers' offense was still solid. It was the defense that would dictate how far the Steelers could go this season. Their secondary had once again struggled, and the Steelers attempted to address this.
Man. Dude, for as much as we talk about the offense and having so many weapons and stuff, dude, outside of AB and Bell, Kobe Hamilton, Eli Rogers, I think Eli had a pretty decent season. I think this was his rookie year. No, was it? When did we draft him? I can't remember this, but I think he had a pretty good season in 2016. But still, I remember going into the Patriots game, the AFC Championship, with Kobe Hamilton as our receiver number 2. And I think Coates like banged up with his hands and stuff like that. Like I think our offense was this huge juggernaut with all these weapons. Is looking back, it might be a little overrated. Jesse James as our tight end, like, man, this might have been a false narrative back then that we were like so stacked on offense. I think it was Ben, AB, and Bell that were just kind of dominating. Obviously, our line was really good though too.
Once again, by drafting Artie Burns and Sean Davis to add more speed to their lineup. Overall, the Steelers look strong once again and poised for a deeper playoff run than last year.
I don't remember ever Chicolo starting. I do not remember this at all. Cockrell. Yeah.
In classic Steeler form, they started the season off a disappointing 4-5 before rallying in the second half of the season to win 7 games in a row to clinch a wildcard playoff spot.
I remember making a bet after that Cowboys game that we were going to be in the playoffs. I won like $20-25, just one of my buddies at work. He didn't believe. He just didn't believe. Because you got to think, Ben was hurt in this Patriots game. He missed that. I can't remember what happened in this Ravens game. But this Cowboys game we should have won. And then, yeah, you could just kind of see what happened there on out.
In the first round, the Steelers easily beat the Dolphins, with Roethlisberger finding Antonio Brown on 2 consecutive touchdown passes from 50 and 62 yards out.
Yeah, this was domination. I don't remember Ben throwing 2 picks, though.
2nd and 7, and what a catch by Brown, and he slashes right past the secondary, and he's taken off for a second touchdown in the first 8 minutes. A 30-12 Pittsburgh victory.
Man, this video is pretty well done. I like the layout and stuff.
Against the Chiefs. Steelers kicker Boswell.
Man, this was an ugly win. We just kicked all field goals.
Record 6 field goals to take an 8-point lead heading into the fourth quarter. The Chiefs managed to score a touchdown late in the game, but were denied on the 2-point conversion, allowing the Steelers to win the game without scoring a single touchdown.
On Davis.
I'll never forget like Travis Kelce after that game in his press conference. Like he was crying about something, some type of call that didn't go their way. I cannot remember.
After their tough road win, the Steelers went on to face the Patriots in the AFC Championship.
This was
bullshit. The Patriots quickly jumped out to a lead, which the Steelers struggled to cut down on. In the third quarter, the Patriots dominated to end the Steelers 36-17.
Dude, I'm telling you, we had Kobe Hamilton and I think Sammy Coates as like our number 2 receiver, number 3 receiver, and going into that game, Bell got hurt. It was just bullshit, man. They got lucky. Look at this draft. TJ Watt, Juju, James Conner, Cam Sutton even. Now Dobbs is back on the roster. This is a hell of a draft. I mean, Defensive Player of the Year candidate, like around that stratosphere. Juju made a Pro Bowl, having an awesome season this year. Cam Sutton, I mean, he's been playing really solid. James Conner made a Pro Bowl. I mean, he's kind of a polarizing guy in the backfield, like how you feel about him, is he the future or not? But still, to get him in the 4th round, that's big-time value. And then Josh Dobbs back on the team, like I said.
Pittsburgh Steelers select T.J. Watt, linebacker, Wisconsin.
After their tough loss to the Patriots, Roethlisberger apparently contemplated retiring, but decided to stay on for what he thought would be his last season. During the offseason, the Steelers attempted to address a lot of the issues that were brought to light after their loss to the Patriots.
Did anyone think he was actually retiring? I don't know. I didn't get that feeling. I thought he was maybe just upset that we lost or whatever. But no, I didn't really think he was going to retire. I definitely thought he had a decent amount more left in him.
Firstly, their offense had ground to
it was one of those things that made you think, it's like, damn, dude. I mean, it's getting to that point. He's getting up there in age. Like, we've had him for so long. Like, we definitely got to appreciate him being our quarterback, you know?
Still after Bell got injured, as teams would just double Antonio Brown, effectively removing the Steelers' offense. To address this...
this is when the offense was different. I guess, yeah, looking back at 16, the reason it wasn't as good is because we didn't have Martavis. People like to remember the times that we did have Martavis, AB, Bell. But yeah, this was the offense right here. This was it.
Drafted wide receiver Juju Smith-Schuster and running back James Conner to provide depth on the offensive end. On the defensive end, the Steelers had managed to improve last season from 21st in the league in yards allowed.
Yeah, this is when the defense starts shaping up a little bit. Bringing in Joe Hayden. Yeah, definitely. You could just see from like the year to year just the defense improving.
But continue to build their defense by drafting TJ Watt to build what will become a terrifyingly strong defense. This time the Steelers managed to find their groove early in the season behind incredible performances from their quarterback, receivers, running backs, and offensive line. Their defense was also dominant behind Cameron Hayward and Ryan Shazier's performances, leading the Steelers to a 13-3 record straight into the divisional round. But the season was still heartbreaking.
I mean, yeah, this was our year. I mean, we got screwed in that Patriots game. Obviously, it was a catch. Should have been 14-2 with the 1 seed, and then, yeah, losing Shazier, that hurt the defense too. I mean, he was a Pro Bowler, man. Like, he was a stud on defense. That was just a couple unfortunate things that happened, man. Because this was the season, 2017. You saw the offense, you saw the defense shaping up. Should have been 14-2 and a 1 seed.
As midway through, Ryan Shazier suffered a horrible back injury that threatened his ability to ever walk again. Luckily now we know Shazier is fine, but the Steelers did lose an incredible linebacker that day.
Defense is not getting up. Said this Cincinnati rivalry has gone a little bit off the edge, and he said last night, I worry about players getting injured on both sides when this game is played because sometimes it crosses the line.
Offensively, the Jags started off with a 21-0 lead, and despite the Steelers slowly cutting down on their
469, 5 touchdowns, again, the Jaguars, like the Broncos back in 15, Jaguars, they're the number 1 defense in the league. Like, I remember in the AFC Championship, I believe they held Brady in check for sure, and you see what Big Ben did to them, 469, 5 touchdowns. Another one, dude, it's just like, damn, this was it. We coulda, woulda, shoulda, all that type of stuff, but, dude.
They ended up losing the game by only 3 points. Roethlisberger became the first QB to throw for 5 touchdown passes and still lose the game, and the Steelers were heavily criticized by their fans and media for looking past the Jags to a rematch with the Patriots.
Yeah, I think a lot of people thought that was like a trap game, you know. I think even Mike Mitchell said something about that, right? Like, you know, we're looking towards the Patriots or we're not worried about this game or something like that. I do remember that the Jags were definitely getting overlooked. Although they were one of the teams that beat us in the regular season. We went 13-3. They were one of the 3. All right, let's look at this draft. Terrell Edmonds, James Washington, really good picks. Mason Chooks, Chooks has been balling out, man. Starting right tackle right now. I don't know. I guess you could say pretty good draft. I mean, Jalen Samuels has had some moments with us. Obviously, I don't think Mason is the future. So, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know really how you grade this one. I think Terrell Edmonds and James Washington and Chooks were really good picks, though.
Pittsburgh Steelers select Terrell Edmonds. So,
Yeah, people thought we reached on Edmonds. People definitely thought we reached on Edmonds. I'm telling you though, I think he's turned out to be a really good pick.
The offseason would be filled with drama and distractions with multiple problems with all their star players. It started off with Le'Veon Bell.
Morgan Burnett, man, that didn't work out. Bostic, I think he played decent for us.
And a franchise
that's my
tag and
memory,
hold
though.
out for a better contract, which would end up lasting the whole season. After Roethlisberger contemplated retiring, the Steelers decided to draft
All right. James
Rudolph,
Conner's
which
the
caused
starter
further
because Le'Veon
controversy
Bell
with
sat out this
Roethlisberger,
season.
claiming that he was surprised by the decision and initially refused to mentor the young QB. On top of all that, the star of the offseason drama was Antonio Brown, who came into the season full of incidents, including tossing furniture out his apartment window, arguing with the offensive coordinator, and getting multiple speeding tickets. The Steelers team was still strong on paper, but their off-the-field drama raised multiple questions on whether they could be focused enough for a title run. The offseason drama ended up leaking into the regular season, where the Steelers were constantly being distracted by disputes between coaches, players, and the media. Despite this, the Steelers still had a solid chance at the playoffs, before collapsing in the final 6 games, losing 4 of them because of penalties, lapses in judgment, botched coverages, and an overall lack of concentration.
Bro.
The Antonio Brown saga reached its tipping point when the Steelers...
Bro. Well, I don't know if... I don't want to say he's completely wrong on this stuff. This team was 12-4 in my opinion. This team should have been 12-4. Boz missed a decent amount of field goals and kicks that really cost us some games. We had some fumbles too. He was talking about penalties. I don't know if I really remember it that way. We should have won this Raiders game. The Saints game, the refs were just god awful here. I think there was some bad calls in this Chargers game too. Like, we kind of collapsed in this Chargers game, but damn, dude. Like, we had a fumble or two in this Broncos game. I know Ben had the bad pick at the end of the game as well, but, dude, that year, man, like, we were so much better than that record.
Concentration. The Antonio Brown saga reached its tipping point when the Steelers decided to name Juju the team MVP, leading to Brown requesting a trade and calling out Juju on social media. In the end, the Steelers ended with a 9-6-1 record, failing to qualify for the playoffs.
Yeah, this doesn't seem too long ago. I mean, 2018, I guess it isn't. Yeah. Yeah, Connor came in. His numbers were pretty close to Bell. I don't know I still wouldn't say he's the player Bell is, but I mean, he definitely had production. He went to the Pro Bowl.
Pittsburgh Steelers.
Look at this draft. Devin Bush, Deontay, Justin Lane, Benny Snow. Bugs. Yeah, dude, this is a pretty good draft, especially Devin Bush and Deontay Johnson. I wanted Metcalf bad. I definitely wanted Metcalf, but Seahawks took him like a pick or two before us. I remember that. I was over at my buddy's house. But, yeah, this looks like a pretty good draft.
Select Devin Bush, linebacker, Michigan.
Yes, sir. Well, I'm not...
Offensively, the team was obviously hurt by the loss of Antonio Brown, who had logged 100-plus receptions.
Steven Nelson, big-time addition. Dante Moncrief, not so much. And he's not a linebacker. Other than that, no, this video has been good, though.
In addition to losing Brown, the Steelers also lost Le'Veon Bell, who had signed with the Jets during free agency for less than the Steelers had offered. Despite these offensive losses, the removal of both Bell and Brown had lessened the tension in the locker room drastically.
Yeah, this was last year. Oh man, let's just fast forward through this.
To perform, leading to the Steelers drafting Deontay Johnson to help out on the receiving core. This new Steelers team was a confusing one, as there wasn't much consensus on how far
this team could go. Joe Hayden, he's not including Mike Hilton in here, but yeah, dude, this was an awesome defense last year. It's basically our defense this year, aside from Mark Barron. We'd have Spillane there. So yeah, this was the start of a really good defense. You could see it, but you could see it from 2013 all the way up to this point, like the defense getting better and better, and now the offense constantly getting better, being elite, and then we took a downturn last year. Now we're back to that elite status.
This new Steelers team was a confusing one, as there wasn't much consensus on how far this team could go if they stayed healthy. The season started off...
Dude, it's tough because... how far we could go if we stayed healthy. I think we would have been an awesome team if we would have stayed healthy, meaning if Ben was our quarterback. We would have been an awesome team, in my opinion. Like, we could see what's happening this year. I know we had the Claypool and Ebron edition, but I think Ben could have definitely made it work with the offense we had last year. Yeah, if Ben was healthy, but if Ben, if we're going off the premise that we have Mason and Duck, I think we all knew it wasn't going to be a good playoff run for us. I think we all kind of knew that. It would have been awesome to make the playoffs. We were all rooting for it because it's like, what the hell? We're playing with house money. Let's see what we can do. But if Ben was healthy, like, I definitely think it was still Super Bowl aspirations. But with Mason and Duck, either quarterback, it was like, all right, let's just kind of see what happens. We're not really expecting too much. But I think towards the middle of the season, we got 8-5 after that Cardinals game. Expectations started rising a little bit. I was getting excited. I think we all were. It was like, yeah, what could happen here? What could happen? Our defense is really good.
Oh no, with the Steelers going 1-4 and losing Roethlisberger for the entire season in just his second game. Despite these losses, the Steelers defense stepped up and won 7 of their next 8 games straight before dropping the last 3 in tough losses to be eliminated from the playoffs.
McDonald in the backfield.
How are they showing this game?
Goes deep downfield and it is caught.
And he moves so fast for him.
Going game by game here.
The football.
Yeah, that's when Ben got hurt. Mason came in.
And it is taken back all the way by Mark Barrett.
Wait, what the hell? Just 2 games. TJ Watt balled out. Minkah Fitzpatrick, obviously. Cam Hayward. He's been showing up on every one of these defensive stars ones. Look at this draft. Claypool. I mean, that's it. Really. I mean, we've obviously seen some contributions from Highsmith. I think he's going to be pretty good for us. Antoine Brooks has gotten in some time. I mean, Kevin Dotson. This is looking like a really good
NFL
draft for us.
Pittsburgh Steelers select Chase Claypool.
Yeah,
Wide receiver, Notre Dame.
Despite not making the playoffs, everyone was impressed with the Steelers for how far they went.
Big time addition with Ebron for sure.
The Steelers' offense looked strong once again with Big Ben returning for the season and the newly drafted Chase Claypool helping out the receiving corps. The best part of the Steelers had become their defense, which is already superb but became even better after trading for Minkah Fitzpatrick to boost their secondary even further.
Yeah, look at this offense now. Big Ben back, Claypool, Deontay, Juju, James Washington, Ebron, Connor. I don't think the line, I think we could tell or think or see that the line isn't really what it was in the past in terms of being in their prime, but they're protecting Ben pretty well. Running game just hasn't been good. James Pierre, what the hell? Where's Mike Hilton?
Even though expectations are high for the Steelers, no one expected them to be this good. In the first 9 games of the season, the Steelers looked unstoppable.
I don't know,
with
Steeler fans that we knew. I think we knew.
The season came when
defense, if the defense was going to be the same as it was last year, we get Ben back, draft Claypool, although we didn't really know what Claypool was going to be completely. We just knew Ben was going to be the X factor, the difference maker, the 2020 MVP. But yeah, I think we knew. Like, I thought we were going to have a really good year.
Took down Lamar Jackson and the rival Ravens in a dramatic finish.
Find a soft spot in the pocket. Yards away. Here it is to the end zone, and it's broken up.
At the time of making this video, we are still waiting for the Ravens-Steelers rematch on Thanksgiving Day, which should be as dramatic as the last time, with the Steelers attempting to stretch their winning streak to 11 wins. Overall, the Steelers team has had a lot of ups and downs with injuries and controversies over the last 7 years. They have always struggled to have both a powerful offense and defense. It's always been either or, until this season where the Steelers seem to have both for the first time in a while. Comment down below if you think the Steelers will remain undefeated for the rest of the season, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.
We got a great offense. We got a great defense. Yeah, this was dope, man. I appreciate that dude for doing this vid. Shout out to him. So yeah, that was my reaction. Let me know if there's anything I missed, anything you think I'm wrong about as I was going through this video and just giving my takes on some of the Steelers stuff here. So yeah, hope you enjoyed the vid. Shout out to this dude. Go subscribe to him. What's his name? Ank Football. Yeah, Ank Football. Go subscribe to him. Obviously, I think he makes these videos for every team. So yeah, hope you enjoyed. Stay chilling. Peace.